I've had only one dream.
Is it possible to find the perfect partner in life?
Since I don't know when.
Someone who appreciates more than anything else
This heart has for one thing
the simple things.
been silently beating. I've thought at times in the past, has my chance just passed me by?
Long walks,
For the years show that a real chance goes
short naps,
when dreams have been sleeping. I'm tired of excuses, and they're sure tired of me.
good friends.
I've been turning away from all the things that I feared I could never be. Only now they've turned to me.
And someone who'll love you.
Gonna let the stars in, just let them begin.
Right back,
For my dream
no
has
matter
just
what.
found me.
Of course it is. The perfect life partner is waiting for you right now at a place called Pet Refuge. Sarah met Hops at an adoption day.
He was just bumping along the cage and making these adorable little noises, and his motor was just going, so I was just talking to him and stuff, and already was in love with him.
Then Hops stood up.
And then I just started crying because a family found him on the side of the road. He'd been hit by a car and actually had broken both of his front legs, and they were able to repair one of them but not the other one, so they just had to remove it.
Hops was missing a leg.
And they stopped and picked him up. He had fly maggots on him and everything, but they stopped and picked him up and they took him to their vet. The vet did what they could. I'm the cat foster coordinator. It really opens your heart. They feel it. I think the animal feels it. And I think it really does benefit the people as much as it does the animal.
There's something about these loving creatures who come in so hurt or simply discarded that brings out the best in people.
A lot of people get dogs, cats, they don't know how to take care of them, and then something terrible happens. Monty came into tender care. The other guy actually threw the dog against the wall. Its hip was actually broke off, and it was underweight. You could just tell it wasn't a happy puppy. Pet Refuge says, yeah, go ahead, we'll authorize, x-rays and exam, and we did a parvo test, and yes, it was positive. And when it came in, we noticed too, the ears, this poor dog, the ears look like they were cut with scissors. It's barbaric.
Mr. Bergamot Boots, he might have been euthanized just because he was sick.
He came to Pet Refuge by the way of another local veterinarian. He was having urinary tract blockage, so he was unable to urinate. He ultimately needed a special surgery to correct that. I wish animals could talk, because sometimes some animals do appear like they can be a little depressed. I think he definitely was in a lot of discomfort.
And there's Artie, a stray who would have died from heartworm, who's now become someone's perfect therapy dog.
He's my emotional support now. I have anxiety and so does he. Every time he knows that I'm having something, like if I'm having a panic attack at home, he's in my bed, he's on my chest, he's up next to me, he's asleep, and he snores so loudly.
He is a very smart dog and a very worthy dog of knowing. I think for Artie that it proves is that getting a shelter dog doesn't have to be a purebred dog. You can get a shelter dog and make them a good dog, a good citizen.
Parvo, it's a disease that makes you very sick. It's a disease that kills. With a broken leg, humans, it's hard on humans to have a broken leg and in pain, so he had been in pain. He had to be, you know what I mean? But he was just always just happy-go-lucky. He thinks everybody wants to pet him and love him and give love. He just thinks, everybody's his friend. He has no enemies. He'll kiss the cat. Dogs, cats, people.
The shelter is still a very good place, but there's nothing like a home. It's definitely
benefited our lives so much to have him around.
I mean, he would just lick you to death. You know he was in pain, you know he was suffering, but he was just the happiest boy. That's why I fell in love with him.
It was kind of like our eyes met across the room, you know. He had those big glowing eyes, but he was, held his body down, and he wouldn't really look up. And we found out that he was in pain, and that probably was for quite an extended period, probably for a majority of his life.
You could just tell that there was an instant connection between Katie and Mr. Bergamot Boots. But if he would not have received this surgery, he would not have survived.
And I'll tell you what, he's a prime example of how fostering has really helps a dog. And now he's a therapy dog, so.
The moment I saw him, I was like, this is perfect, this is what we need. He's just super friendly and cuddly, and my husband has always loved animals that are cuddly, and I've loved ones that purr really loudly, and I think his life has changed so much, and so much for the better, obviously.
And I'm so happy that Monty is happy because he was a very special boy. Dogs that go through this kind of beginning, they're even more loving than one that's never had a hard time or had an easy life.
He could have died. And I just look at his poor little ears. How could someone do that to him? And I felt sorry for him, but I don't anymore. I mean, he has the best life. He's kind of completed our family.
It's just so gratifying when you find those homes for those ones that really need that extra care. It's a wonderful feeling.
We saw something in him. He was just, like I said, our eyes met across the room. It was magic.
How can the stories at Pet Refuge be both heartbreaking and heartwarming at the same time?
We had an emaciated dog come to the shelter. One could hardly walk. Her name is Rose. When you first saw her, you cried. She walked hunched. Basically, her back and her front legs kind of touched each other when she would walk. Then just to see, she just was grateful that people were helping her. You could tell that she was grateful.
Animals can open hearts, I think, that people can't open.
You know, animals have such an impact on our lives.
To this day, Rose, doing great. She's in a volunteer's home, and she's doing wonderful.
I like to think that he loves us as much as we love him. He's the best dog I have ever had.
It's about making the connections. We're just making the connections between the humans and the animals.
And I can't thank Pet Refuge enough.
Pet Refuge is a really wonderful place.
Please go to Pet Refuge because there's a lot of really awesome furry little things there.
They have wonderful people who volunteer their time because nobody gets paid there.
They're all looking for a home and they're waiting for you. And you didn't even know you needed them until you walked in, and then all of a sudden you have a new best friend.
I've thought at times in the past,
Looking for the perfect life partner?
as my chance just passed me by.
Someone whose expectations are for the simple things?
That's the wonder of them.
Ask the hundreds of volunteers at Pet Refuge about the love you find here.
Gonna let the stars in.
This may
Just let
be
them be
the simplest thing of all.
For my dream has just
Pet
found
Refuge.
me.